Okay, so if you know about my struggle with AP getting the 15500 after 2 years in November 2020, you will come to know that I've actually had 2 pending orders. The previous gen of the 41 case size, which was my initial order, the 15400, that I didn't get and then was transitioned into the 15500. It says avoid any contact with corrosive materials, perfumes, sodas. Okay, so this applies to leather basically. But then it also says avoid major shocks, exposure to major magnetic fields, such as hi-fi speakers, etc. and thermal shocks. Did you know all of this is mentioned in the AP manual? I mean, I wonder if Rolex says the same thing, but this is a whole list of to-dos or not to-dos. Okay, so this is the first time I skimmed through the AP manual and read through it. It really is my first time. I had the 15500, but I never bothered to even go through the manual. The manual is actually for the latest AP acquisition, which is the 15450 ST, and not for my 15500. What's going on, guys? It is your boy Ridah. So these are the 2 common references basically when you think about AP, whether it be your first time or maybe your 3rd or 4th watch. These are really the references that comes to mind. The 15450 and the 15500. And today I've got the 15450 in white dial that I managed to get last week. This is a watch that just kicked in. I mean, you know, when AP calls you and tells you your watch is here, you don't think about it twice, you just go. That's exactly what I've done. It's still got the plastic on and the cover in some parts, and in this video you'll come to know why this plastic is still there. So the Royal Oak comes in different shapes and different variations. The last 4 videos in the channel were literally about different type of Royal Oaks in different materials as well. But these are the most common references. These are the 2 references that you would think about when you think about AP. And you do that because of 2 reasons. Number 1, they're the most attainable in terms of price point. Well, Rolex is expensive, but AP is even much more expensive. Their base model starts at maybe $20,000 now. The current retail price for the 15500 is $23,561 US. And I've got it last year for $21,917. It is literally a price difference of $2,000 in a span of 3 months. Can you imagine? I mean, I thought AP basically increases their prices every year. The same price that I basically paid for the 15500 is actually the same price for the 15450, because that increased as well. But the lowest price point from the entire Royal Oak, when you compare them especially to something like a 15202 or their chronographs and tourbillons, you'll find out these are actually the most attainable from a cost perspective. The second part as well is that these are the references that voiced out excellence for AP. The 15202, of course, we'll keep that on the side. But in terms of day-to-day and in terms of the references that you think about, always be the 15450 or 15500 now. I also thought this is a good opportunity to draw a quick comparison point between the 15500 and the 15450. So in the 15500, the manufacturer caliber is a 4302 that is also on the code 1159 and gives you about 70-hour power reserve. So this is actually an updated caliber. On the 15450, you've got the caliber 3120, which is the older caliber, providing you about 60-hour power reserve. The case size is obviously one of the major differences. It's a 41 mm on the 15500 and a 37 mm on the 15450. In terms of thickness or case height, it's actually 10.4 mm on the 15500 and 9.8 mm on the 15450. The dial also is the second major difference. On the 15500, you've got the black clean grand tapisserie, and on the 15450 you also have the grand tapisserie, but on a white dial with automatic, still written above 6 o'clock. Some people in fact appreciate this reference more just because it still says automatic above the 6 o'clock dial, but for me, I don't mind the clean dial on the 15500 as well. So in terms of wearability, I wore the 15450 for a few days now, and I gotta tell you, man, at first I thought it was too small. But then I realized that this watch is a true joy to wear. Yes, it's a 37 case size, but it wears larger. Maybe a 38.5, or I would say 38. Not a 39, but definitely a 38 or a 38.5. I also thought the bracelet in particular is feminine to some extent due to the fact that it's thinner and not slimmer. So if you're someone like me coming from a 41 case size, you'll definitely notice the difference right away. With no shadow of a doubt, you're gonna tell the difference. More feminine basically than the one on the 41 case size. It's a little bit wider over there. I mean, at first, you'll not think that this is actually as masculine, but then again, putting it on the wrist for a few days, you'll kind of get used to it after that. But if this is your first Royal Oak, then it's going to be easier to digest. It's not something you're going to think about too much. But after a few days also wearing it, I realized the way the links wrap around your wrist, the way the high-end brushing shimmers in sunlight, those polished edges, it's actually a watch that can be worn by both men and women. It's a perfect watch, to be honest. Also to note that if you have a wrist size about 6.5 inches, at first you'll feel that it's too tight. On the 15500, I had to remove links. But on the 15450, on the other hand, I was actually thinking about adding links because it was very tight when I first tried it on. But just like any other steel Royal Oak, you know, you get it, you wear it, and then after a while it will start loosening up. You don't need any adjustment depending on your wrist size for this 15450. I actually don't think you want to wear this 15450 loose, but in fact you want it to grip around your wrist, but you also want to make sure it's comfortable. Now, why do I still have protectors on this? And I know I'm gonna get murdered from even moving this part. Well, to be honest with you, I'm giving this watch to my wife. For one, that I already have a Royal Oak that I pretty much enjoy and it fits me perfect. I don't need a second Royal Oak that is just a case size different. And for two, I did start her up on a collection with a Day-Date 40 in rose gold and olive green dial. This was actually the anniversary piece, so it's a very, very special Day-Date. They call it the Day-Date 40. And I thought this is a nice stainless steel Royal Oak add-on that I think between us, it matches her wrist more. And when they did contact me for it, I knew deep down that I was going to get it, and I knew I was going to give it to my wife. And you know, I just thought they're a good couple watch basically. So this is a his and this is a hers. I mean, knowing my wife, she probably won't even remove the plastic for the longest time. She's got this thing with keeping things clean and as new for as long as possible, but it's her call. So I did take the liberty to remove the cover for the purpose of this review, but then I'll leave the rest for her to do later. So what do I think about this 15450? I actually think it's a great alternative to the 15500. The 15500 is actually on a boutique wish list, so you may or may not get it. But then the 15450 on the other hand, it will come if you list your name. It just needs time. And in my case, that took about 2 years and something for it to actually come in. But generally, that's what it is. This is a wait list and this is a wish list. It's classically sized, so yes, it is sporty, but leaning toward the classic side more, especially with that thinner bracelet when compared to the 15500. I mean, when you talk about Rolex is hard, of course, it's difficult, especially right now. But AP, on the other hand, there is no exception. Regardless of who you are or who you might know, it will just not work. Like, you have to adhere to that time. So anyways, guys, that was a quick unboxing videos. I'm not really big on those unboxing videos. I mean, I usually get a new watch and I just talk about it. I have like about 1 or 2 unboxing videos in the entire channel. But for this one, it's a different brand. It's not Rolex, so I thought I'd share that unboxing experience with you guys. And I will be doing a comparison video later on, a much more detailed one between the 15500 and the 15450 ST. If you do like me to incorporate any points, please do let me know in the comments section down below. I would love to go through your comments. Until I catch you guys on the next one, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you guys really soon. Take care.